Hello there, I'm Kathleen Byram, and I'm the author of Conversations with Donkey, a Bipolar Journey. I'd like to share with you today a little tiny piece of a stream of consciousness I had. And what I said was, people assume things, and they can be very stubborn. When responding to hurt people, the stubborn may say, no, he ain't hurting, he enjoys it. Now, how do you know that, sir? You don't, unless you've been in his brain with him, and that's highly doubtful. Now, as I am likely to do, I discussed this with Gemini, and Gemini made some points. And I want to share those with you in my own voice. It says, and I like this, it's frustrating when a nuanced psychological concept is met with such dismissive binary thinking. That says it. That really says it well. It's simple, but that's exactly how it feels. It's this great boiling up frustration of and it is dismissive. It's like, go away, I know the truth and you don't. There's no point in discussing it. I hates it. When someone insists that an abuser or a bully just enjoys it, they're often creating a defensive barrier, not necessarily against the truth, but against the discomfort of complexity. The anatomy of the stubborn response. When someone insists that a person acts out of pure unadulterated evil or pleasure, they're usually engaging in a few specific cognitive patterns. The need for moral clarity. Acknowledging that a harmful person is also a damaged person complicates the moral landscape. It is much easier to categorize someone a monster who deserves pure condemnation than as a broken person who requires a more complex understanding of cause and effect. Complex, there's that word again. It's complex, and this is why it's hard to fix, because it's hard to explain. At least for me. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to project here. The fear of excuses. Many people conflate explanation with justification. They fear that if they admit an aggressor was once hurt, they are implicitly excusing the behavior. That's not true. They hold on to the he enjoys it narrative as a way to ensure the aggressor remains fully accountable and villainized. That makes so much sense to me. That sounds like truth to me. The human brain is hardwired to seek simple narratives. If someone hurts others, the simplest narrative is that they are bad. The cycle of trauma, the idea that someone's behavior is a maladaptive response to their own history, requires an intellectual and emotional maturity that can feel exhausting to maintain. The stubborn person isn't entirely wrong, but they're looking at the symptom rather than the source. He enjoys it as often a mechanism of the harm, not the origin of the behavior. When someone hurts others, they often do experience a form of pleasure, a rush of dopamine or a sense of power. This is common in individuals with antisocial traits, or those who have been chronically powerless in their own lives. However, this enjoyment is rarely the reason they are the way they are. It is a compensation strategy. The power illusion. A person who was victimized throughout their life learns that the only way to feel safe or significant is to be the one holding the whip. The pleasure they feel in hurting others is actually the fleeting relief of not being the victim for a change. The numbing effect. For many, harming others is a way to feel something, anything, in an emotional landscape that has been deadened by their own trauma. When you encounter this wall of stubbornness, trying to force them to see the trauma behind the behavior often makes them dig in deeper. Instead, try validating their point before expanding it. You might try saying, "I agree that they seem to get a thrill out of it, and that's a terrifying part of their personality. I wonder, though, where that need for power comes from. Why do they feel they have to dominate someone else to feel okay?" Or, "You're right, they clearly enjoy the harm they cause. Do you think that kind of cruelty is something someone is born with? Or is it something they learned as a way to protect themselves?" By acknowledging that you see the enjoyment that they are pointing out, you lower their defenses. You are no longer arguing against their observation. You are inviting them to look at the why behind it. This has been an instruction that I learned from. I did it for me, and what I do is I do things and then I let it show, so that if anybody wants to use that information, they can for themselves. That's how I feel about that. And I want to thank you for listening to this. And I'm Kathleen Byram, the author of Conversations with Donkey, A Bipolar Journey. It's available at Walmart and Barnes & Noble online for around $23.99, unless they've got it on sale for some odd reason, and at Amazon. And it tends to run between about $4 and $9. I don't know. I have Amazon Prime, so I don't know what kind of shipping costs are, actually. When I buy it, I just pay the tax and stuff, and I don't have to pay like $6.99 shipping or whatever. So I can't advise on that part. But thank you for listening to this. And if you have any thoughts or disagreements, I don't mind constructive criticism and disagreements if they're polite and nice. Nicely done, I mean. Put them down in the comments for me, okay? I love comments, and I would love it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.